Hey guys, Amy Rose here. Thanks for clicking on my video. We're going to talk about MamaMax today, a little bit about Spencer. It's been about 6 months since the original discourse, and there's been some pretty interesting updates, so let's get into it.
Did you hear any of the lore?
So, videos and coverage about the original situation that caused Max's downfall are everywhere, so I'll keep this brief as I want to focus more on the newer information about Max and Spencer that has surfaced more recently. However, I do find it important, of course, to give a bit of context to what I'm going to talk about. I'll link a bunch of good videos in the description that covers this more in depth if anyone wants to delve deeper into it and check out those creators. Back in January and February of this year, MamaMax's YouTube channel and career was thriving. He had millions of views, thousands of subscribers, and many industry connections that garnered him respect in the YouTube community. However, at a certain point, everything for him came crumbling down, all due to him becoming too confident and feeling that he was not subject to the same scrutiny he put on others. Max's content had a strong focus on protecting children and investigating predators. He coined himself the Predator Hunter because he had a huge ego, clearly. The case that would be his ultimate downfall was that of Camden Gerard Davis. His family friend Spencer had come to him with this story, and he took it upon himself to use his large platform to talk about it. This story that included grooming, cults, abuse, vampires, werewolves. No, I'm not kidding. His coverage was a mess. He did not provide any solid evidence of anything and was trying to connect with survivors who did not want his help. Also, he was using threats to try to get other big YouTubers to talk about his story. These threats did not sit well with his connections, and they began speaking out about how Max was leaving a bad taste in their mouths. One creator Max went after strongly was Moist Critical, and we know it doesn't tend to go well for creators when they try to go after him. Max went so far as to make a video saying that he could cancel Charlie.
I could literally cancel you, Charlie. I could literally cancel you. And I choose not to. It's true, though. It's the truth. I'm the friggin' pedo hunter.
Another person who was in Max's sights was Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers due to their friendship that they had cultivated throughout the years. Mudahar and other creators such as Nicholas Diorio had similar reactions, which were their platforms and knowledge were not appropriate for the situation Max was trying to have them speak about. Unlike Max, they did not want to platform and speak on something they felt was not in their wheelhouse and had really shaky evidence to support it at best.
If I make a video on this, this is what I have to work with. How do you honestly think I can take your side? Logically, if tomorrow I was like, oh, where's Max getting his legal definitions? Oh, ChatGPT. By the way, ChatGPT has also been getting fucking dumber over the last few months. I mean, come on.
Max, I run a show called Rape Review, okay? You don't want your 8 victims on Rape Review. They don't belong on fucking Rape Review, okay? I'm an entertainer who says stupid shit online. I absolutely cannot platform people in a situation like this. It's out of the realm of possibility for anything that I should be doing.
This all culminated in Max getting absolutely ripped apart by the YouTube commentary community. He spoke with Lyrics on his live stream where his investigation was questioned and he did nothing to defend himself, coming out of the conversation looking worse as ever. The most notable takedown took place when Mudahar and Diorio spoke with Max and Spencer and brought up all the issues with the investigation, as well as Max's strategies used to involve other creators. His "if you're not with me, you're against me" style of outreach did nothing but encourage the community to look at him with more scrutiny than ever.
Dude, this is crazy.
Why are we getting angry? Why are y'all so defensive?
Literally, you're ruining a fucking case. That's why I'm getting fucking mad at you.
You have 8 girls relying on you, and you have no idea what you're doing.
You
it's so
told
evident.
me in this call, I didn't fucking look at all this evidence. I didn't vet it properly. Now you're pulling up legal definitions.
That is not what I said, Mudahar. That is not what I said.
That is exactly what you said.
That is literally what you said.
You are twisting my words right now.
I can transcript this call, and we can go over this.
Okay, we can go over it.
Holy
You are
fuck.
putting words in my
Literally,
mouth.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. That's what you said. You said you only verified Spencer's evidence. You didn't even properly analyze or timeline the evidence of the other victims. That's not putting words into your mouth. That's literally
Okay,
repeating what
can you allow me to clarify then?
Sure, clarify this, please.
Okay. I am in the server where they are posting evidence. Not all of them have walked me through what the evidence is as to what the context is.
Okay. So you can't verify the evidence then.
What does that mean I can't verify it?
You can't verify if what they're posting is legitimate.
It means that there's a
verified
much
them?
larger issue here. Not only do we have no idea what's going on, it seems like you don't know what's going on.
I do know what's going on. I don't know the complete story.
You're the complete story. That's your job, just to get the complete story out there. You understand how crazy this sounds?
That is what we are working on.
Why did they come to you? I don't understand. You clearly have never done anything like this before.
And that is why I've been asking for help, Nick.
Why the hell did you make a statement of fact calling somebody a pedophile when you couldn't even properly walk?
Are we going to keep arguing this?
Yes!
Yeah, we are. We have to keep arguing it because you clearly don't understand the ramifications of what you're doing to this case.
Because you're setting it up for the guy who potentially molested and abused tons of women to fucking take the money you've given these victims in court in a civil case.
I'm going to tell you right now, I actually believe the victims. I think that there is some malfeasance involved, but how you've handled this case and how you've been doing this call so far, you know who has a grounds to fucking sue you? You know who has some credibility to win now? It's Camden.
Not only is this guy not going to go in jail, you're going to end up paying him, bro. You're going to give him money.
You want to...
Please.
Why is it
your
my job?
Because you're the one.
What? What?
You're the one spearheading it. What do you mean? Fine.
Okay.
Why is it your job? Because you're the fucking person who's running the investigation. This is your case.
Investigate this as well, and you haven't.
Yeah, why are you putting it all on me?
Because it's your
You're
case.
the one bringing it. Why are you?
Absolutely. I am the
case?
first one.
Yeah.
You
not
are
want
the
to be the
only
only
one. You haven't
I'm the
convinced
only one.
anyone to come on board yet.
You haven't convinced exactly.
That's
You haven't
because
made
you haven't been listening to this.
That's because you haven't been giving anybody anything to work with.
This.
Am I being fucking punked? Is there a camera somewhere in the room? Is this a fucking joke to you?
It seems like it's more of a joke to you.
Yeah, because I'm the one doing all the fucking crossing the T's. But honestly, Max, I don't think there's anything much more that I can glean out of this. You haven't provided me a shred of evidence that's going to convert anything.
This is such a joke.
It is not a joke.
Yeah, it is. You're a joke, and you're fucking this up for these girls, and it's all on you, and you're digging your fucking grave right now. It's
You know what?
insane.
I'm just gonna say it for just because I have to say it. You need to hand this situation off to a proper investigator, a proper journalist.
Why don't you take it, Mudahar?
Am I a law enforcement?
If you think he's a proper journalist, that's the problem. What's wrong with you? You know you're like a pedophile hunter, right? You do this? You've covered quite a few cases, but for some reason you're telling us that this one seems particularly difficult. So are all cases built the same? Just because Mudahar has done Club Penguin, he can march these 8 girls down to Georgia? That's just like a normal thing to do?
Following this campaign and failed publicity tour, Max ended up pretty much ghosting the internet and the whole situation. He continued to work on it for a bit, but Discord logs were leaked showing how the survivors just wanted Max to stop and not involve them further. He slowly stopped posting and advocating for this story, even taking down all the content involving it. Throughout this investigation, Max did not encourage survivors to report to officials, never reported any of his alleged findings, and even was revealed as having lied about previous cases where he said he had gotten someone arrested and reported his findings to police. Max never reported anything and never advocated in a proper way for the survivors he was claiming to be helping. In the end, he was revealed as someone who was just using these survivors and topics for his own advantage, to grow his own ego and career. The improper handling of this case led to his downfall, as it caused everyone around him to reevaluate the work he has been doing throughout the last few years. Now for the updates. Max has been relatively radio silent in the 7, 8 or so months following this ordeal. He's updated his YouTube and Patreon here and there, but has not posted any substantial content. Both Spencer and Max's social medias indicate a falling out between the two that we are going to talk about more now that some more information has come out. So, what are the social media changes? Well, Max removed Spencer from his main YouTube page where her channel used to be linked. Spencer removed Max's hashtag from her Instagram bio, was approving comments on her YouTube that spoke badly about Max, and most recently deleted her YouTube channel along with all of its content. Here's a few examples of the kind of comments I'm talking about. Max is a fraud. However, that being said, I feel for you and wish you healing and a blessed life. Maybe get proper representation, though. Diminishes your cred. Here's the saddest part about this whole situation. If you truly are a victim of this person, justice will never come. And you can blame Max and his egocentric platform for it. And this last one, that video that leaked with you and the guy made me lose my lunch, and it's being plastered all over the internet. Are you going to do anything regarding this? Also, sucks what happened. Hope the authorities can sort everything out quickly. The first kind of conclusive updates came out regarding Max. There was an update to the notice received when trying to access his old Mega account. He used this public database to store evidence as well as images and video he used to compile his YouTube content. You know, just like a super safe, great way to store sensitive information, especially when working with real survivors on a project. So the notice used to look like this. This folder or file was reported to contain objectionable content, such as child exploitation material, violent extremism, or bestiality. The link creator's account has been closed and their full details, including IP address, has been provided to the authorities. Bad enough, but there's an update, and now it looks like this when you try to visit the page. It says, this content has been removed. The link you are trying to access is unavailable because the folder or file was reported to contain illegal, objectionable content. The account of the user who created this link has been terminated. Mega has zero tolerance for unlawful activity. For more information, please visit blah, blah, blah. Get support. If you have concerns about your thoughts or behavior regarding sexual images of children, there is confidential, anonymous help online. The Stop It Now project helps people deal with sexual thoughts about children and make positive changes that can improve their quality of life. And then there's a link for this service. Now, between these two, do we see the problem here? The second updated notice basically confirms that there was some type of harmful material stored here. These types of filters usually search for harmful material that is already stored in a database. So it can be implied not only was there harmful material involving children here, but it's very likely it may have been materials already known and recognized by authorities and the tools that they use. Now, this update is bad enough, but of course with all these types of things, it gets worse. Redditors found him in images for a couple of nonprofits based in his local area. They found Max was volunteering as a court-appointed special advocate for children through an agency called Casa of El Paso. Given his possible connection to having harmful materials on his Mega account, I think we can all see the issue here. That, along with his internet reputation of having absolutely fudged a case and taking advantage of survivors for his own gain. At least these survivors were all adults by the time he was working with them. The potential for him to mishandle or take advantage of children is just so much higher and more harmful. Also, he has the potential to make this agency, who is just trying to help at-risk court-involved youth, look horrible and like they're not properly vetting those who they have work with children. It's also noted on the same Reddit post that Max volunteered through another program at SCS Learning Center where he taught a film workshop for children. While this is not as harmful as working with at-risk youth, Max is still not the type of person who should be around children or volunteering at these places where his reputation could cause harm to the agency itself. Given Max has no criminal background, he would not be legally unqualified for these roles and would pass any check required to work with youth. He also changed his name from Max Ronald Harris to Max Striker. And guess what comes up online when you search his new name? A Nerf gun. It's the name of a very popular series of models, so all preliminary searches go to this versus his YouTube notoriety. It can be easily theorized that this was done on purpose in order to bury his misdeeds online. Myself, like a lot of other people, when I found out about this, I was really upset because he could literally cause a place like this to lose funding and donations and public support if this became large enough. Never mind that given how he handles himself, he should not be put in roles where he can influence children, especially those who are court involved and at risk. He said so many times throughout his investigation with Spencer that the police and courts were not helpful for survivors, and it would turn out they never reported anything or tried working with the police, the courts at all in order to get resources or justice for these survivors. So for him to come out 8 months later working alongside the court system just doesn't sit well with me. But, of course, all is well that ends well. Within a few days of this information coming out, Redditors were quick to put up a petition on change.org and encourage respectful calls to these agencies to alert them as to who Max really was. Roughly a week later, it was confirmed that Max was let go from his position within the agency. One Redditor was able to get into direct contact with a higher-up, and they were thankful for everyone's concern and for letting them know what was going on with Max. Since these updates, all is quiet again on the Max front, but Spencer is a whole other situation and has had more recent updates. Let's get into it. Aside from those little things on social media we mentioned earlier, there seems to have been at least some more confirmation as to Max and Spencer's falling out recently. For context, Spencer has been living with Max since the time of the original drama. Recently, Redditors have posted some screenshots from her Facebook showing that she is asking for money in order to move out and get back to her hometown. I can't imagine posting my personal situation online for $350. Especially considering how it will probably get out to the online communities keeping an eye on her and Max. This is legit like 1 week of minimum wage. She is claiming abuse that sounds a lot like what she had said about her ex Camden that Max had covered. The irony is definitely not lost on me in this situation. Let's go through and check out some of these posts. One of the first ones that came out, we're just going to do chronological order here for the sake of keeping the story together, is she had posted, "Is anyone able to pick myself and a few things up from El Paso and get me back to Garland ASAP?" The next update on her Facebook page regarding this situation is this post here. It reads, "Goal met through donation page. Thank you to the person that donated the full amount. From the bottom of my heart, I wish abundance on you and everyone that supported me in any way they could. Heart emoji. If anyone wants to help me with $1 here and there for food, that could help me a lot while I get ready to come back." And she posts a link. "I need help with funds to get my dog from El Paso, Texas to Greensboro, North Carolina. Any little bit helps, but I need $350 total. I have $2 towards that. I've been having to live off donating plasma, so I don't have any savings. Payment methods, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. I can also accept Facebook Pay." And then it's just a few edits about the goals and a post for her of her dog for attention. Additionally, this post was found where someone else she had come in contact with online was helping to advocate for her while she was trying to collect this money. And it reads, "I met this young girl online from a post she shared in a local group. She's doing her best to get out of a really bad domestic situation. She's trying to get back local to stay with friends where she will no longer have to starve, but can't bring herself to abandon her dog there. I know some don't get it, but some will. She found a friend who will foster her dog until she gets on her feet. She just needs some help. Even small donations add up." This story sounds pretty familiar to me and anyone who kind of covered the drama, because one of the main things that Spencer was claiming and that people spoke about a lot was that her ex Camden would starve her as well. So this seems like one of her go-to things to say. And, you know, people have been saying stuff online. I try not to go after people's appearances too bad, but when you've just like done people dirty as bad as Spencer has over the last few months, I think we can tell by looking at her that she's probably not starving. I'm just going to leave it at that. The most recent updates on Spencer come from someone who allegedly knows her in real life and was friends with her for a good chunk of time. This is a verified post on Reddit, and, take that with a grain of salt. It's still Reddit, and there's no, proof that I've seen that this person knows Spencer, but it's some juicy information nonetheless, and I'm here to talk about some drama. So let's see what was posted. There's some really lengthy stuff to go over, so let's read through it. This is the Reddit post I was talking about. This, as we can see, submitted 7 days ago. Spent about a week trying to get on top of it, obviously. So let's read through it. The Truth About Spencer, submitted by Hey Diesel, if that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, the following was sent to the mod team by Hey Diesel with permission to post. Everyone thanked them for their contribution. All right, let's get into the story. I have known Spencer since I was 15. I want to clear the air. She has always been kind to me, so it hurts me to post this, but also she kind of abused my empathy in her to the fullest. And I know somewhat enough, I think, to make a credible post, and I have receipts if needed. She did go missing at a point in time, but knew of Max, and Max knew her. Camden did have Spencer come to Georgia. She says she talked her way into getting on a bus, but when she told me the story after years of not seeing each other because of seeing Camden and the whole situation, then reconnecting, she told me he bought her the ticket. I never knew about the vampire werewolf stuff, but I do know she wrote fan fiction about it, and I feel maybe she was too lost on the internet that this fantasy could become real to her, IDK. She never told me she would recruit other young underage girls for him. She told me he was doing this to other girls, and it was a cult and that other girls were involved in. I think she hid this information from me because of how it would look. When I found out just yesterday through an edit clip of their podcast that she basically groomed girls, I was disgusted. As we bonded over being groomed, I felt for her because I had a bad situation happen to me before and I understood her. And when I found out she did that and never told me or others I was friends with who would hang out with her, and she would casually share this story often, she never mentioned grooming or bringing in other girls. I guess because of that reason, she was grooming. She has no disability. I myself was paid to take her to get it checked out so she could receive disability checks. Essentially, she was denied because there was no disability. Later on in our friendship, she mentioned a guy that has a YouTube channel, MamaMax, who she was friends with for years, wants to help her get justice for her and the other girls, and it would take some years to do this. I thought it was great because she will be getting justice. She opened up about her many miscarriages, and as someone who has miscarried, I also felt bad, but in the back of my mind, found it odd the amount of miscarriages she had in a course of a couple months and years. It was also too many for the body and not physically possible, and the timing of pregnancy and miscarriage never added up. But again, I allowed my emotions and empathy to get the better of the truth. My mom had also had 3 miscarriages in the course of 6 years. You can't have 5 miscarriages in a year, you know? Anyway, not to trauma dump, she would share these stories with other people I would introduce her to, and they would always tell me that she is lying, but she's so deep in her lies she believes them. I have a friend who he is a psychologist. We all went to a club together, and when he met her, he said she definitely has trauma, but from that unhealed trauma, she's developed a victim mentality and even believes lies she says to stay being a victim. She cannot have normal disagreements or issues. They have to be extreme. At the club, the moment she was not the center of attention, she wanted to leave and forced us to end early. She also asked to live with me. As someone who also was in a domestic abuse situation years ago, I felt for her abuse from situations she would talk about. I felt bad. I wanted to help, but I needed her to know she needed to work. I also had another roommate at the time, and they didn't feel comfortable having her there and live because they felt we would become caretakers and she would not actually work, as she is openly adamant that she can't hold a job because of this disability that is never addressed. As someone with a physical disability and a mental one, I still go to work every day. Everyone had shit going on. You work to improve your life, and I wrongly felt I could encourage that on them. I pay $1,500 in rent and have 2 jobs. I let her stay with me for a week because a certain situation was getting more abusive, as she claimed. I just paid my expensive rent and had $10 or $20 to last till the next week. She openly complained about the food I had bought as it was till next check food. This is the grammar in the Reddit post, not me. I'm trying my best here, guys. Which was gross frozen meals and vegetables. I kind of became offended because, hey, I'm trying to help you, you know? That raised a flag, which should have had a flag raised long time ago, but I finally became weary and immediately took her home the next night. I would actively send her jobs, hiring near her in walking distance. I would tell her about Lyft and that they will cover your rides till you get paid. I kept telling her ways to improve her situation, and she wouldn't. From there, I just ghosted her. I didn't want to, and I felt bad, and she responded in some angry messages, but I didn't know how to confront her. As someone who's been through a lot of bad shit, I was unsure if she was telling the truth and I was being rude and not believing, or if she was lying and I'm right. I became very confused, IDK why I did, and I typically have a really strong head on my shoulders. I had feelings for her as well. You can say what you want, but the way she made me laugh, and I also found her beautiful. Anyway, we stopped talking, and a year later, she reached out and apologized for everything. I forgave, and I apologized for not being able to communicate to her. But her trying to force herself to stay in my apartment and saying she could feed me and take care of me to make up for not being able to work, and all of a sudden more drama and abuse was getting worse. Something not right. She also has a partner online, and they finally met twice, and within a week of meeting up, she all of a sudden miscarried from having sex and admitted he didn't come in her. Yeah, the story's interesting, guys. I was like, okay, that's such a lie, which was another thing that made me back off. When I saw her posting on Facebook, I checked in to make sure she was okay. She was living with Max. She says he is not abusing her, just being verbally aggressive, and they are not in a relationship. She also asked me not to post anything because people were harassing her. When I realized what this all had to deal with, I felt like making this post. I think Spencer has a habit of wanting to live with people to escape and not put in effort to work or improve. This cult essentially holds no sustenance, and as a lot of it is embellished, were these other women's victims most definitely, and her I cannot speak on. But she has a habit of using people, and I think MamaMax thought he was gonna get some fame out of it, but realized there's nothing there. It's a tragic story, and I'm sure Spencer went through stuff. But Spencer lies and steals. They stole my Caroline doll my dad got me in high school. LOL. It's a silly thing, I know, but it's my favorite movie and my dad got it for me. Like, how crazy to steal a doll. They have a habit of making themselves a victim for people to feel sorry and will even find a new lie to match up to your trauma. If they aren't a center of attention, they will become sad and start trauma dumping so everyone would listen. People didn't want to bring me around anymore because I was hanging with her, and I don't blame them. It's all bullshit. That's it. That's all I can say. I'm sure Camden did something, but it was role-playing taken too far. They can work. They can get a job. They aren't being abused in the way they are broadcasting it to be. They just don't want to put in the work. She says that Max owes her $5,000 and she never received it till finally she bugged him enough and he said he would pay her in installments. I think the videos did not get enough views, or he did not receive the revenue he thought he would get off of her and could not keep the agreement of the money. And some of the money she did have already that he gave her, she has used to get out of her situation, as well as donating plasma to move back to a location. Now, is this the truth? IDK, this is what she told me when I asked her what she is doing to get out of the situation. They both essentially used each other and it's backfiring. The money that should go to victims is being used to get back to a location. The installments are apparently $660 a month. I think Max didn't starve her, but tried to get her to improve herself, as many others have tried to do, including myself, but they view it as harm. This is just a thought. I have no evidence to say he isn't doing these things. And same thing, I informed her of going to homes or reaching out to communities that can help her, or working. I mentioned if she works a month or less, she will have the money to leave, but instead she got money through donations. Also, every person I would introduce them to, they would change their stories up to where when these would talk, the other person would be confused because they told one person one thing and then told me one thing. Max should have fact-checked before allowing this, and this will be one of the many things of his downfall. At the bottom of this Reddit post, there's an image attached, and it's a screenshot of a text message allegedly from Spencer to her friend. So let's read through that too. So I ended up moving in with the YouTuber that was supposed to help me expose the cult, as it was my last resort. He promised to cover food, medical, everything. Well, he only wanted to help for the money, so he never paid any of my medical from the start. He was buying food at first, but then he tanked his career, which in turn has people convinced I'm a bad person like him, so people are stalking me online, and wants me out because he's not making money off me, but still wants to try to make money off me. He got me a dog and had me move everything I own to anchor me. I figured out a foster for my dog until I can figure permanent housing out, but my biggest issue is needing someone willing to drive the full 18 hours from Dallas to here and here back. I have the U-Haul trailer figured out, but I'm panicked because if I don't get out after my dog leaves on the 15th, I'll be stuck here until after my birthday and have no way to really feed myself. And that's all there are for updates right now. I double-checked Reddit and whatnot before finishing up this video, and so far no new drama has surfaced. There isn't any meaningful conclusion or narrative I can really give for this video, aside from just enjoying the drama and insanity that seems to perpetually plague these individuals. The MamaMax drama has definitely been one of the most entertaining situations the commentary community in greater internet has seen for a while. I mean, how can a story about a werewolf, vampire cult, and a disgraced YouTuber not make good content? I've been enjoying this case and the commentary pretty passively, but I knew once I saw these updates I had to jump in and make a video. I've thoroughly enjoyed all the content that has come out of this story, and I'm definitely curious to see where it goes from here. That being said, thank you for taking the time to check out my video and listen to me talk about this weird-ass situation. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't, dislike and tell me why in the comments. This is my second video, so I'm learning and trying my best. I'm going to try to drop another video within the next few weeks on some other strange topic I find interesting. Hopefully, you'll find it cool too. Thanks again, guys. I'm out. Bye.